Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to Stormgate Central, and in today's video we've got some pretty exciting news about Stormgate's future plans for esports towards the end of 2024 and then of course into 2025 and beyond. So this has kind of gone under the radar for a while now, and it was actually first revealed at a Korean Stormgate event with Kakao Games. Now Kakao Games is a big mobile games developer over in Korea. They're also one of the biggest backers of Stormgate, so they've given them a sizable amount of money. I think it's their largest investor, in fact, and they want to invest into the future of esports in Korea. So it makes sense that Frost Giant have decided to go over there, and they held a little press conference with Tim Morton, one of the co-founders of Frost Giant Games, and also Carol LaForge, who is the director of business operations. So I'll link the original article. It is all in Korean, so no surprises there why it's taken us a while to translate this and sort of get the good information out of it, but there are a number of slides and things that they showed at this press conference, so if you're interested in seeing that, I will link it down below and you can go and check it out for yourselves here. But over on Stormgate Hub, they put together a really good summary breakdown of the important information from this conference. We're going to get into all of that here in a second, but before we do, guys, as always, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, please hit up that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out a ton. I am going to be bringing you guys guides, Stormgate casts, and of course news on the game once it releases towards the end of the year and beyond that. So if that's something that you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, and as always guys, thank you so much for the support here. Alright, so let's just dive straight in here, and the first topic is going to be on grassroots esports, and this is going to be generally focused on 2024. So they say here on Stormgate Hub, Frost Giant have confirmed that for 2024, their focus will remain on grassroots esports. The studio will support community groups that plan to organize Stormgate events, but likely largely steer clear of hosting many events themselves. With that said, they may participate in esports events at gaming exhibitions or trade shows, so maybe Gamescom for example, although no further details were revealed. So it's been long known that this is the path that Frost Giant Games decided to take with Stormgate. They didn't want to be putting on too many competitions themselves, and I think this is a good idea. That way they're putting their own resources into creating the game, and much like they've done with marketing and promoting the game, they have enlisted the help of content creators essentially to help them promote the game for free just because they're interested in the game. And I feel like that's sort of what they're doing with the grassroots esports tournaments as well. Massive shout out, by the way, to Adiko. I'm going to link his channel down below. You guys may not be familiar with him, but every single beta test, whether it was under NDA or not, he put on a tournament each and every weekend with some of the best Stormgate players, and it was called the TANC, or the Alpha Navigators Cup. And in my eyes, he's really a bit of a trailblazer in the Stormgate space. He's the first guy I know of who started doing some tournaments of his own, so go check out his channel. He's got a bunch of VODs over there of some really great top games. Now with that said, whilst Frost Giant aren't going to be putting on too many tournaments themselves, Kakao Games are going to be hosting Stormgate events in Korea. So they say here, while Frost Giant are sticking to the grassroots approach, their Korean publishing partner may take a different path. It has been confirmed that Kakao are planning to operate various activities in Korea around Stormgate. Again, no specifics have been announced, but we can expect to hear more in the future. Perhaps we'll see competitive tournaments and even leagues rise up in the region. And I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, if Kakao Games have decided to invest into Stormgate and give them some backing with a considerable amount of money, why wouldn't they also decide to do that with tournaments and things? So who knows what sort of prize pools we're going to see there, what sort of formats we're going to see. It's going to be very interesting to get into all that once it is announced. Then we have the Global Championship coming in 2024, and this is really the most exciting news, I guess, that they're going to be adding this. The event will see the best of the best compete to determine who is the best Stormgate player in the world, and unfortunately, again, details are still yet to be announced, so we haven't really got any like solid details on this, but it's just nice to see that so many things are in the works. Furthermore, we also have regional leagues that are set to begin in 2025, so players are going to be able to compete to see who is the best in their region. There are plans for 6 leagues, which they haven't announced yet, but it's likely that it's going to be North America, South America, Europe, Oceania, Korea, and then Asia. Although, again, nothing is confirmed there beyond stating that there will be 6 regional leagues. And then there's going to be another global championships in 2025, and the regional leagues will directly feed into that championship. So by 2025, we'll see a bit of structure come into the Stormgate esports ecosystem, but as you might expect, as he says here, full details are yet to be announced. So personally, for me, I'm really excited about these tournaments, but there has been a lot of sentiment around this news that Frost Giant Games are putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, right? The game isn't even released in early access yet. We have no idea how popular it's going to be. We don't know how many players are going to be playing it. So is it really a good idea to be, investing, let's say, if you are Kakao Games, into this game before we've even seen how popular it's going to be? Now, of course, I'm not trying to say that they shouldn't do that or that it's not going to be popular, but I think that is a fair point. On the flip side, though, that is definitely going to stir hype around the game. A lot of people will watch a game or an esports match of a game when they don't even play it. I'm willing to bet that many of you guys out there, and this certainly holds true for myself, don't play StarCraft 2 anymore, but you still watch professional matches of StarCraft 2, and that is certainly my case. I mean, it's kind of like any sport in the world, right? Look at how many people enjoy watching football games, but how many of those people actively are invested in playing football and actively trying to improve themselves? Probably not very many of them. Maybe they used to have some relation to football, maybe they played as a child, or maybe they even used to train as a kid. And I think watching professional matches, especially as you grow up and you get older, is a way to stay connected with something that you used to love. And that's how it works with me for StarCraft, at least. So, I don't think this is a bad idea for Stormgate. It's also going to help people to learn the game right. Maybe those players who are only interested in the campaign or they're only interested in the co-op mode, going and watching some professional matches takes the stress factor out of it for you, and you can get to grips with how the 1v1 world of Stormgate actually functions and it works. Now, you could also argue that there's a lot of stuff that still isn't in the game. We don't have access to the early build yet, but we know that there's going to be some tier 2 units in there. We have, of course, seen the Graven announced for the Vanguard, so presumably the Celestials and the Infernals are also going to be getting at least one tier 2 unit, but that's not all of the units that are going to be in the game, and a lot of people have criticized them for announcing tournaments when we don't even have the full game, we don't even have all of the units. But that's not stopped us so far, right? We've already had a $10,000 tournament, was it the EGC tournament, in one of the previous alphas, and I watched that on Twitch and there were a lot of people watching it, a lot of people enjoyed it, it was a massive hit, so I don't really see why they can't do the same sort of thing going into early access and beyond. I really feel that as the game develops over that first year, at least I think of early access, before we get the 1.0 release, presumably sometime in 2025, the esports should develop alongside it. We'll see what works. A lot of grassroots tournaments are hopefully going to spring up. I've already seen multiple people who are interested in hosting things. Hopefully I'm going to be able to cast as many games from those tournaments as possible for you guys here on the channel, so I'll keep you in the loop with everything that's going on with them. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to this. It's going to be so interesting to see what new tournaments spring up, which ones end up being more popular, new players come into the game, all of that kind of stuff that happens when a new RTS launches. Now, moving on to a slightly different topic, just to clue you guys in at the end here, Stormgate posted this over on Twitter or X, so depending on if you're on there or not, you may not have seen this, and they said, join the xenoarchaeologist Tara Fletcher on her quest to unearth ancient real-world artifacts and piece together the mysteries of our past. So this is a little bit of a lore tidbit here, and this is like an email before this character in the game called Tara, and she says the artifact has been obtained. Small figurine, female, elongated eyes and skull, strange markings on the body. Looks like a lizard of some kind. Prelim dates to 7,000 before the brink. Could be related to the first invasion. Flying back ASAP, stand by. So they are beginning to build up the lore of the world a little bit. I know many of you guys are interested to see the lore and the story of the game somewhat more fleshed out. We haven't gotten any campaign missions yet, so we don't really know what that's going to entail. The only lore we've gotten is like the short stories, and then of course some of the trailers for the game. But this is kind of interesting. So they've actually enlisted the help of a real-world archaeologist to build the lore of Stormgate, it looks like. So This person here commentates and says, "Hi everyone, so nice to meet you. My name is Tina, and I'm a real-life archaeologist, here to help out the Frost Giant team working on Stormgate. In Stormgate, we are exploring how our real-world ancient civilizations could have inspired this game's universe. This here is a real-world figure from the Ubaid period or culture, which flourished in Mesopotamia between 5500 and 37 BCE. The photograph used was taken at the Iraq Museum, and it's under the Creative Commons license, so that means anybody can use it. I choose this statue because it fits into the timeline of our game world, and it depicts an anthropomorphic creature that looks weirdly otherworldly. To Tara, this is yet another clue in her search for more information about the Infernals and their first invasion of Earth." So I think the brink that they keep talking about is when the Infernals first invaded. Presumably at some point these storm gates were opened and they managed to close them with these artifacts, and now of course Dr. Clive Cullen has decided to open the storm gates once again for whatever reason. So there's going to be a lot of history in the game coming out throughout the campaign, a lot of foreshadowing and things like that, I think, and overall I'm really looking forward to experiencing those missions. Guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on Stormgate Esports. What do you think about them so far? Do you think it's a little bit too early to be beginning with competitions, or do you think it's a healthy thing for the game? Leave a comment and let me know down below. Subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss out on future Stormgate news. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.